Hi, hello everyone. Good morning, my dear young minds. Heartily welcome to a short-term class crash course biology. It is very crucial time period. My dear students, all of you utilize this time properly and try to get better score in final NEET exam. Final NEET objective exam. Today, we'll discuss reproduction in organisms. From second year, very important chapter. We are expecting at least minimum 2 questions, maximum 3 questions from this chapter. What is reproduction? The term reproduction indicates the ability of an organism to give rise new offsprings that are similar to parents. It is known as reproduction. Lifespan. What is lifespan? Each and every organism can show a limited period of time. The period from birth to natural death of an organism is called lifespan. Lifespan varies from species to species. Let us discuss some examples of lifespan of plants and animals. Elephant, $70 years. Rose, 10 years. Dog, 22 years. Cow, 22 years. Butterfly, 1 to 2 weeks. Butterfly. Horse, 50 years. Crocodile, 60 years. Rice, 4 to 7 months, approximately 4 to 7 months. Banyan tree, approximately 200 to 300 years. Peepal tree lifespan approximately 200 plus years. Fruit fly lifespan 30 days, approximately 1 month, right? Next to these are some examples of tortoise lifespan 100 to 150 years. Crow, 15 years. Parrot, 140 years, etc. Hence, time period from birth to natural death of an organism is called lifespan. Lifespan varies from species to species. Elephant, 70 years. Rose, 10 years. Dog, 22 years. Cow, 22 years. Butterfly, 1 to 2 weeks. Horse, 50 years. Crocodile, 60 years. Rice, 4 to 7 months, because in rice nearly 2 lakhs varieties of rice are there. Out of 2 lakhs varieties of rice, 1.5 lakh varieties of rice cultivating in India alone by farmers. Hence, lifespan vary from species to species of rice. Hence, I wrote here approximately 4 to 7 months. Banyan tree, 200 to 300 years approximately. This is all approximate lifespan, not exactly. Peepal, 200 plus years. Fruit fly, scientific name Drosophila melanogaster, lifespan 30 days. But in some books they have mentioned 1 to 2 weeks. 1 to 2 weeks, depend on options, right? Tortoise, 100 to 150 years. Crow 15 years and parrot 140 years. See, look here. Crow and parrot, these two are birds, almost similar in size, but color different. Crow black in color, parrot green in color. Though these two are birds, but lifespan vary from species to species. Crow lifespan just 15 years, parrot 140 years. Important for NEET objective exam, parrot. Sometimes question paper setter may prepare questions from this area. My dear students, all of you remember lifespan of different organisms, both plants and animals, right? Next, mortal immortal differences. Mortal, immortal. Mortal means death. Immortal, without death, alive continuously. Mortality is common in all multicellular organisms, multicellular plants, multicellular animals. They have particular time period. After completion of the lifespan, animals or plants die. That is called mortal. An example, man is mortal, elephant is mortal. Immortal, without death. Example, unicellular organisms. Unicellular organisms, right? Examples of unicellular organisms: protozoans like amoeba, paramecium, euglena, okay, and plasmodium. Some prokaryotes such as archaebacteria, eubacteria, mycoplasma, all unicellular eukaryotic organisms and prokaryotic organisms are the best examples of immortal. Means single cell divide to form two daughter cells. Again 2 to 4 cells. 1 to 2 cells, 2 to 4 cells, 4 to 8 cells. In such a way, its number increase randomly. The total organism or total cell divide into two daughter cells. 1 to 2, 2 to 4, 4 to 8. Here, where is death? No death. Hence, unicellular organisms doesn't have death. Hence, they were known as immortal. Important, right? Then we discuss reproduction and types of reproduction. The term reproduction defined as the ability of an organism to give rise new offspring that are similar to itself. That is known as reproduction. It is broadly are of three kinds. Asexual reproduction, vegetative reproduction, means vegetative propagation, and sexual reproduction. Asexual reproduction, vegetative propagation, and sexual reproduction. Indirectly, vegetative propagation also a type of asexual reproduction. Asexual reproduction again are of various kinds. Like budding. Budding are of two kinds: exogenous, endogenous. Exogenous and endogenous budding. Binary fission, fragmentation, sporulation, etc. Right? First we discuss regarding asexual reproduction, budding. Asexual, A means absent. Which is absent? Sex organs are absent. Without involvement of sex organs, reproduction takes place. That is called asexual reproduction. Budding. What is budding? Budding means in a vegetative cell, small notch or small bubble like structure or small external growth appear on their surface. Slowly bud increase in size. It is a vegetative cell, vacuole, nucleus, cytoplasm. You know well, what are the parts in yeast? The best example, yeast. Yeast scientific name Saccharomyces cerevisiae. After attainment of maturity, vegetative cell develop small outgrowth. That outgrowth is called bud. A process of formation of bud on the outer side of vegetative cell is called budding. Slowly, the size of the bud increase in girthwise and lengthwise. Nucleus undergo elongation, divide, and half of nucleus transfer to baby cell called bud. Hence, slowly the size of the bud increase in size. At a particular time period, bud detach from parent cell. That process is known as budding, a process of formation of small bubble-like structure towards outer side or inner side, which collect all intracellular material, eventually divide and get separate from parent cell. That is called budding. Budding again are of two kinds: exogenous budding, endogenous budding. Exogenous budding means, best example, yeast. What is the meaning of exogenous budding? Just now I told, a process of formation of small bubble like outgrowth from vegetative cell is called exogenous budding. Endogenous budding, best example, spongilla, gemmules. So, number of spores, number of endogenous spores, on the outer side it is covered with membrane. Spicules, monoxon spicules. Spicules provide physical support to the gemmule. It provides physical support to the gemmules. Gemmule, example, spongilla. Sponges. Okay. So budding are of two kinds: exogenous budding, endogenous budding. Exogenous budding example, yeast and hydra. In these two organisms, bud forms towards outer side. Hence, it is called exogenous budding. After fully grown, bud detach from parent organism. That is called exogenous budding. Endogenous budding, if bud form inside the body, inside of an organism, is called endogenous budding. Best example, spongilla. Okay, the endogenous bud is called gemmule. Gemma different, gemmule different. It won't confuse. Gemma cups. You might have studied gemma and gemma cups in Markantia, a bryophyte. That is different. Gemmule means endogenous bud. You don't confuse here. It is natural opening called mouth, outer membrane, inner membrane, spicules, spores, etc. It is a sac-like structure which contains large number of spores on the inner side, and spicules. Spicules act as skeleton, provide physical support, mechanical strength to the gemule. After attainment of maturity, all spores disperse into surrounding immediate water through mouth, and each spore develop into an individual sponge. That is called endogenous budding. Next, binary fission. Binary fission. Example, bacteria. A prokaryotic organism, unicellular prokaryotic cell. First, small notch or fission appear on either sides of the cell. Therefore, in centripetal manner, notch grow towards center. Notch grows towards center. Eventually, the total bacteria cell split into two daughter cells. Total intracellular material equally distributed to daughter cells. Bacteria, a prokaryotic cell, outer wall is cell wall, inner wall cell membrane, cytoplasm, naked DNA. You know well what are the parts in prokaryotic cell. During binary fission, first small notch or fission appear on either sides of the cell. Notches slowly grows towards center in centripetal manner. Due to this reason, total parent cell break into two equal daughter cells called binary fission. Each daughter cell pick up all intracellular material from parent cell. Means DNA, cytoplasm, ribosomes, polysomes, reserve food material. Each and every intracellular material transfer to daughter cell. That is called binary fission. Next, fragmentation. Fragmentation, best example, filament. You may heard the word fragmentation in previous chapter, plant kingdom. One of the examples, fungi. What is fungi? Study of, it is a type of mycelium. Study of fungi is called mycology. Mycelium is thread-like structure that contain large number of branches, sub-branches and all. Fragmentation means entire filament break into many fragments, many pieces, many small pieces. Again, each fragment develop into an individual mycelium, an individual fungus. That is called fragmentation. Fragmentation also occur in some lower living plants like algae. Best example, algae. Algae are of three kinds: chlorophyceae, phaeophyceae and rhodophyceae members. Chlorophyceae, green algae; phaeophyceae, brown algae; rhodophyceae, red algae. These filamentous like plants also divide into small fragments, small pieces. Each piece again develop into an individual organism called fragmentation. Next is sporulation. Sporulation. Okay. Spores, hyphae, a best example, fungus, mucor, Mucor, Rhizopus, etc. It is rhizoids, stolon, hyphae, sporangium. Sporangium produce large number of spores endogenously. Such spores are also called endogenous spores. A process of formation of spores inside the sporangium called sporulation. Okay. After attainment of maturity, wall of sporangium rupture and all spores disperse into surroundings, settle on the substratum. When the conditions are favorable, all spores germinate. On germination, spores gives rise new mycelium. That is called sporulation. These are the various types of asexual mode of reproduction. Right? Understood? Vegetative propagation. Vegetative means vegetative parts. Propagation means reproduction. That means what? Some plants also able to produce next generation offspring by vegetative organs like through roots, stems and leaves, called vegetative propagation. Propagation means reproduction. Some examples of vegetative propagation: runners, important for NEET object exam, runners, suckers, offsets, tubers, rhizome, bulb and bulbil. Runners example: oxalis and grasses. Oxalis and grasses. Suckers: banana and chrysanthemum. Two examples important. Offsets: pistia and eichhornia. Tubers, example: potato, rhizome, ginger, bulb, onion, bulbil, agave. You may heard these words in previous chapter, first year, morphology of flowering plants, root modifications, stem modifications, and leaf modifications. Right? Some examples I written here: runners, example oxalis and grasses. These plants usually grow on topmost layer of soil, prostrate on soil, grow horizontally on soil, touches soil. The area where plant body touch, it gives rise new roots. Hence, roots grow into deeper layers of soil. If you want to detach subbranches, means each and every subbranch again develop into an individual oxalis or grass plant. Such plants are called runners. Suckers. First, what is sucker? In some plants such as banana and chrysanthemum, inside soil, from base of the node, from the base of the stem, inside soil, a new branch arises. That new branch grow horizontally beneath soil and eventually emerge above soil to form leafy shoot. Such structure is called sucker. Sucker, best example, banana and chrysanthemum. Offsets. What is offset? One internodal elongation, one internodal length. What is node? It is node, space between two nodes called internode. Internodal elongation. One internodal elongation is called offset. Best examples Pistia and Eichhornia. These two are aquatic plants living in water. These plants reproduce by vegetative propagation. Suppose unexpectedly through movement of animals, or if you want cut offset means the two patches, two parts detach from each other, develop into an individual plant body. Develop into an individual Pistia plant or Eichhornia. That is called offsets. Aquatic plants. Next, tubers. Example, potato. Potato is underground stem modification. It contains large number of eyes called eyes of potato. Each eye equals to one axil. One axil. Each axil bear two to many buds called axillary buds. Suppose if you want to detach one of the eye spot of potato, place in soil. Cover with soil. Sprinkle water with regular intervals. After some time period, the part of the bud develop into an individual potato plant. Good. Next, rhizome. Rhizome example, ginger, a medicinal plant. Potato scientific name, Solanum tuberosum. Ginger scientific name, Gingiber officinalis. You must remember scientific names of different plants which are given in NCERT. That is important. Ginger, underground stem modification, grow horizontally. It has nodes, internodes on the surface. The part of the node cover with scaly leaves. Scaly leaves protects node. From the base of the ginger, it gives rise large number of roots called adventitious roots. Adventitious roots. That is called rhizome, underground stem modification. Next, bulb, underground stem modification. Example, onion, edible onion. Onion scientific name, Allium cepa. Allium cepa. In onion, stem is highly condensed and discoid, disc shape. Highly condensed, compact, flattened shape, disc shape. A large number of adventitious roots develop from the base of the discoid stem. In onion, we can observe two types of leaves, aerial leaves, underground leaves. Aerial leaves are flattened shape, green in color, perform photosynthesis. Whereas underground leaves are light pink in color, store food material. Such leaves are bulge in size, that are called fleshy scaly leaves. Fleshy leaves are edible. Hence, two types of leaves common in onion. If you want cut the part of the bulb, why it is called bulb? Means the morphological structure of onion, it resembles bulb shape. Hence, it is called bulb. Collect bulb, place in soil, cover with the soil, sprinkle water with regular intervals. After some time period, the part of the bulb develop into an individual onion. Onion plant. Next, bulbil. Example, Agave americana. Agave, it contains two to many bulbils. If you want cut the part of bulbil, place in soil. Means after some time period, the part of bulbil again develop into an individual agave plant. These are the best examples of vegetative propagation. Dear students, you must remember technical terms and examples. Definitely question paper setter prepare questions from this area. Next concept, sexual reproduction. Sexual reproduction. Before going to discuss about sexual reproduction, one important terminology, monocarpic, polycarpic, very important. What is mono? Mono means single, carpic means flower. Some plants produce flowers only once in their lifetime. Only once in their lifetime. That are called monocarpic plants. Best example, bamboo and Stobilanthus kuntiana. Stobilanthus kuntiana. Common name Neelakuranji. Common name Neelakuranji. Scientific name Stobilanthus kuntiana. Bamboo lifespan. It is perennial plant. Okay. Its lifespan approximately between 50 to 100 years. The lifespan of Stobilanthus kuntiana maximum approximately 12 years. Approximately 12 years. Broadly, plants are of three kinds: annual plants, biennial plants, polyannual plants. Polyannual plants also called perennial plants. First, annual plant. Plant which complete their total life cycle within a year, called annual plants. Year means not exactly 12 months, 7 months, 8 months, 4 months, below 12 months, called annual plants. Biennial plants termed as plant which complete their total life cycle within 2 years, called biennial plants. Out of 2 years, in first year plant develop vegetatively and second year sexually. During second year plant produce flowers, pollination, fertilization, fruit formation, seed formation, harvesting stage, everything occur during second year. Hence, plant which complete their life cycle within 2 years are called biennial plants. Annual plants example, pulse crops, red gram, green gram, black gram, horse gram, Bengal gram, bean, pea, many varieties are there. And vegetable crops, rice plant, these are all annual plants. These plants complete their life cycle within a year. Next, biennial plant, example carrot. Carrot complete its life cycle 2 years, within 2 years, called biennial plants. Next, perennial. Perennial means polyannual, lifespan 2 to many years. Example, several fruit yielding plants and timber yielding plants. Timber means wood yielding plants, forest plants, etc. Bamboo, a perennial plant, grass plant, monocarp plant, lifespan approximately between 50 to 100 years. It produces flowers only once in their lifetime. Such plants are called monocarpic plants. Very important for NEET object exam. Dear students, focus on this area. Next, another example, Stobilanthus kuntiana, common name Neelakuranji. This plant produces flowers during September and October. During September and October. Recently it was produced flowers 2006, 2018 and 2030. It produces flowers only for every 12 years once. Its lifespan also are around 12 years. According to NCERT, Stobilanthus kuntiana plant produced flowers, blue color flowers, between September and October in the year 2006. Recently, 2018. In future, in coming days, the same plant species produce flowers during September and October month 2030. Means what? For every 12 years once or only once produce flowers in their lifetime. Such plants are called monocarpic plants. One more main point, Neelakuranji plants mostly grow in hilly areas, Tamil Nadu, Karnataka, Kerala, etc. During these months, the total hilly area turn into blue stretches, blue color stretches. It attracts tourists. It gives beauty to the nature. Sometimes question paper setter prepare questions from this area based on month and year. Dear students, remember, don't forget. These types of plants, though these are perennial plants, lifespan more than 2 years, but produce flowers only once in their total lifetime, called monocarpic plants. And polycarpic plants, poly means many, carpic means fruits or flowers, because the part of the flower only modify into fruit. Yes or no? Polycarpic plants produce flowers every year. Suppose mango, tamarind, neem tree, banyan tree, sapota, pomegranate. These types of several plants, fruit-yielding plants, produce flowers every year. So many times, several times in their lifetime, called polycarpic plants. Understood now? Next to menstrual cycle. Menstrual cycle, estrous cycle. Estrous cycle. Difference is very important. Difference is very, very important. See, in zoology, you might have studied what is menstrual cycle, what are the stages of menstrual cycle, what is the importance of menstrual cycle and all. Similarly, estrous cycle also. Menstrual cycle common in primates. Example, primates. Estrous cycle common in other than primates, means cow, sheep, deer, rat, tiger, etc. These are called non-primates. Non-primates. Okay. Primates, non-primates. Primates example: monkey, man, apes, etc. Chimpanzee, gorilla, etc. Menstrual cycle example primates, non-estrous cycle examples non-primates. Primates example monkey, man, apes, chimpanzee, gorilla, etc. And non-primates example cow, sheep, deer, rat, tiger, and many other cattle. Primates are more active in their total reproductive phase. Hence, primates are called continuous breeders. Continuous breeders. Whereas non-primates are seasonal breeders. Seasonal breeders. Primates are continuous breeders because they more active throughout their reproductive phase. But non-primates become active only particular season in a year. Hence, non-primates are seasonal breeders. Next, primates are intelligent animals. They have more IQ. Intelligent animals. More brain developed organisms are called primates. And less brain developed organisms or non-intelligents are called non-primates. These are some examples of primates and non-primates, and some difference between menstrual cycle and estrous cycle. Sometimes question paper setter prepare questions from this area. All of you remember difference between these two concepts. Don't forget. Next, sexuality in organisms. Sexuality in organisms. Some technical terms are there. Remember, staminate, pistillate, staminate, pistillate, etc. A flower with stamen is called staminate, means male flower, male character. A flower with pistil is called pistillate. Pistillate. Female flower or female character. Female character. Staminate, pistillate. A flower with stamen is called staminate. Staminode different. Staminode. Staminode means sterile flower. Sterile flower. Sterile male flower is called staminode. You don't confuse between staminate and staminode. Both are different. Staminate means a flower with stamen is called staminate, which is also called male flower. Staminode means sterile flower. Sterile male flower. Means anther is sterile, immature. In such conditions, anther unable to produce pollen. Such flowers are called sterile male flower. That's all. Pistillate, pistil, female character. A group of pistil is called gynoecium. Pistil also called carpel. Carpel, right? A flower with pistil is called pistillate flower, also called female flower. A flower which contains both stamen and pistil called bisexual flower. Bisexual flower. Unisexual, bisexual. Important. A flower with only any one of the sex character, any one of the sex are gone, called unisexual flower. A flower with both male and female characters, both male and female sex organs, called bisexual flower. Some plants are unisexual, but majority of plants are bisexual, right? You may heard the word dioecious and monoecious. Dioecious and monoecious. Dioecious means unisexual. Monoecious means bisexual. Don't confuse. Sometimes somebody may confuse. Dia means two, means bisexual. Wrong. Dioecious means unisexual. Monoecious means bisexual. Clear? Dioecious plants, example, papaya, Vallisneria, etc. Monoecious plants, example, maize, khara, etc. Next, dioecious animals, example, cockroach, monoecious animal, example, earthworm, etc. Of course, many examples are there. You must follow NCERT examples. Whatever examples given in NCERT, that is important for NEET objective exam. So you must concentrate on NCERT book examples. Clear? Dioecious means unisexual character. I written here plant examples and animal example. Plant examples, papaya and Vallisneria. Male plant produce male flower, female plant produce female flower. But female plant only produce fruits, but not male plants. You know, Vallisneria, an aquatic plant, male Vallisneria, female Vallisneria. Okay. So unisexual character. From animals, example, cockroach. Okay. Even human beings also dioecious, unisexual character. Right? Cockroach. NCERT book example, cockroach. Male cockroach, female cockroach. Next, bisexual, monoecious character. Plants example, maize and kara. In maize, single plant produce 2 flowers, but flowers are unisexual, plants are bisexual. You just imagine previous concepts, morphology of flowering plants. It is grass plant, maize plant, produce 2 types of flowers, male flower and female flower. Male flowers arise from tip of the shoot, and female flowers arise from base of the shoot. It is even their location and arrangement also convenient for transfer of pollen from anther to stigma. Okay, hence here plant it is said to be bisexual, but flowers are unisexual because single plant produce both male and female flowers. Another example, khara, a green alga, produce 2 sex organs, oogonium, antheridium. Oogonium female character, antheridium male character. That's all. Right? You must remember technical terms and its meaning. These types of questions important for object exam. Mostly question paper setter prepare questions from this area in matching type questions. Column 1, column 2. Matching type questions. Or statement 1, statement 2 type questions. Right? Haploid, diploid. Haploid and diploid. Haploid means n number of chromosomes, small letter n. Diploid, 2n, 2 sets of chromosomes. Haploid organisms produce gametes by mitosis division. Mitosis. Hence, the ploidy of gametes also always haploid, whereas diploid organisms produce gametes by meiosis. Observe the difference between haploid condition, diploid condition. Haploid means having one set of chromosomes, small letter n, n number of chromosomes. Diploid means 2 sets of chromosomes. Haploid organisms produce gametes by mitosis. Mitosis also called equational division or homotypic division. Diploid organisms produce gametes by meiosis. Meiosis otherwise called reduction division or heterotypic division. In meiosis exactly half the number of chromosomes reduced. Hence it maintained standard number of chromosomes among organisms over several generations. Some examples of haploid organisms. Some examples: Kingdom Monera members. Kingdom Monera, fungi, algae, and bryophytes. Etc. Some examples of diploid organisms: pteridophytes, gymnosperms, angiosperms, and animals, higher living animals. Examples important, dear students. Remember, haploid example, haploid organisms example: Monera, fungi, algae, bryophytes. Kingdom Monera include all prokaryotes like Archaebacteria, Eubacteria, Mycoplasma, Actinomycetes, and blue-green algae, etc. Fungi, all types of fungi: Ascomycetes, Basidiomycetes, Phycomycetes, Tetromycetes, all types of fungi. Their ploidy haploid. Their total body consists of n number of chromosomes, means only one set of chromosomes. Hence it is called haploid number of chromosomes. Algae, chlorophyce, phaeophyce, rhodophyce, etc. The majority of algae, the type of life cycle is haplontic life cycle. Of course, some exceptions are there. An example, phaeophyce member Fucus, a brown algae, it shows diplontic life cycle. Kelps, another example, Kelps sargassum, phaeophyce members, it shows haplodiplontic life cycle. And red algae, a Polysiphonia, it exhibit haplodiplomatic life cycle. Haplodiplomatic life cycle. These are exceptions, but majority of chlorophyce, phaeophyce and rhodophyce algae shows haplontic life cycle. Bryophytes, haplodiplomatic life cycle. Right? Next, diplomatic life cycle. Diploid organisms produce gametes by meiosis. The ploidy of parent diploid, twin. Here parent in the sense mother cells. Okay, gamete mother cells. Gametes ploidy, haploid. Then here what happened? Whatever the number of chromosomes reduced in gamete formation, the same number of chromosomes again restore during fertilization. Male gamete, female gamete. Male gamete, example pollen grain. Female gamete, example egg cell. That means pollen carry male gametes. Okay. Fertilization takes place between male and female gametes, called fertilization. Male gamete ploidy, n haploid. Female gamete also haploid, n plus n to n. In such a way, whatever the number of chromosomes reduced by meiosis during gamete formation, the same number of chromosomes again re-add by fertilization. Very important point. Remember, don't forget. Right? Some examples of diploid organisms: pteridophytes, gymnosperms, angiosperms, and higher living animals such as fishes, amphibians, reptiles, birds, and mammals. Higher living animals. All higher living animals are diploid. Diploid parents produce haploid gametes by meiosis. Understood? In NCERT book, some diagrams clearly mentioned. Earthworm, bisexual animal, also called hermaphrodites. Hermaphrodite means bisexual animal or bisexual plant. The best example, earthworm and Khara. Khara, a green alga. Earthworm, one of the Annelida phylum members. Next, cockroach, dioecious animal, unisexual animal. Right? So, observe while reading NCERT concepts along with NCERT paragraph lines, you must focus on diagrammatic representation, box points. That also important. Clear? Now we will discuss number of chromosomes in different organisms. Name of the organism, chromosome number. Chromosome number in meiocyte. Meiocyte ploidy 2n. Next, number of chromosomes or chromosome number in gametes. Gametes ploidy always haploid. An example, man, 46 chromosomes. Housefly, butterfly, fruit fly, rat, cat, cat, dog. Ophioglossum, Ophioglossum. It is a fern plant, a fern plant. Housefly, number of chromosomes in meiocytes 12. Butterfly 360. Fruit fly 8. Rat 42. Cat 38. Dog 78. Ophioglossum, it is a fern plant, pteridophyte member 1260. 1260. Next, apple, rice. Some other examples: apple 34, rice 24. Different types of plants and animals and their chromosome number in meiocytes. Meiocyte, meo means meiosis, reduction division. Cyta means cell. A cell which undergo meiosis division are called meiocytes. Meiocyte ploidy, diploid, always diploid. Meiocytes also called mother cells. Next, chromosome number in gametes. Gametes ploidy, always haploid. Clear? You remember different organisms, name of the organism, plants or animals or insects. At the same time, remember any one of the digit, either diploid number or haploid number. If you remember, diploid number means exactly half haploid number, that's all. Suppose 46 means 23 chromosomes. Haploid 12, 6, like that. In such a way, remember diploid number of chromosomes or haploid number of chromosomes, your wish. Definitely question paper setter focus on this area. So, my dear students, go through NCERT book box point, practice box. You must by heart this number of chromosomes of different plants, animals and insects. Man 46, housefly 12, butterfly 360, fruit fly 8, rat 42, cat 38, dog 78, Ophioglossum 1260. 1260, important. Apple 34 and rice 24. Out of given table, which organism has lowest number of chromosomes? Fruit fly. Diploid number 8, haploid number 4, exactly half. Ophioglossum, a fern plant that contain highest number of chromosomes according to NCERT examples, 1260. 630 haploid number of chromosomes, right? Box point, a point for neat objective exam. Next to now discuss sexual reproduction, sexual reproduction, sexual reproduction. It is common in all organisms. Okay, sexual reproduction require either single individual or two opposite gender. In case of plants, plants are of two kinds: monoecious plants, dioecious plants, or bisexual plants. Bisexual plant doesn't require opposite gender because single flower contain both male and female characters in a flower. Androecium and gynoecium, both characters present in single flower. Such flowers are called bisexual flowers. Such plants are called bisexual plants. Hence, due to its bisexuality, it doesn't require another organism. Hence, in case of plants, sexual reproduction require single individual. In case of animals, particularly fishes, amphibians, reptiles, birds and mammals, male body different and female body different. Both are unisexual. In such conditions, sexual reproduction require two opposite gender. male organism and female organism. Understood? Right? Okay. Sexual reproduction, it includes 3 events. Events in sexual reproduction important. What are events? The first one, pre-fertilization events. Pre-fertilization events. Important. Broadly, there are 3 events: pre-fertilization events, fertilization events, and post-fertilization events. The first one, pre-fertilization events. That means what? Before fusion of male and female gametes or before fertilization, whatever the changes occur in organism, that all changes collectively grouped under pre-fertilization events. It includes 2 steps: gametogenesis, gamete transfer. Gametogenesis and gamete transfer. Gametogenesis and gamete transfer, both important. Gameto means gametes, genesis means production. A process of production of gametes from gamete mother cells called gametogenesis. Gametes are of 2 kinds: male gamete, female gamete. Production of gametes takes place by meiosis. In case of diploid organisms, formation of gametes takes place in presence of meiosis division. In case of haploid organisms, formation of gametes takes place remain mitosis. Don't confuse, right? Gametes again are of various kinds. Some are motile, some are non-motile. Motile, non-motile. Okay. In some organisms, both male and female gametes are motile. In some organisms, both male and female gametes are non-motile. In some organisms, male gametes are motile and female gametes are non-motile. 3 concepts important. First, isogametes. Isogamy, anisogamy, anisogamy, 2 important, right? Isogamy, best example, cladophora, a green alga. Anisogamy, example, fucus, human, and higher living plants, etc. Many examples are there. Isogamy means 2 similar type of gametes. Fusion of 2 similar type of gametes is called isogamy. These 2 gametes similar in all directions: size similar, shape similar, number of flagella similar, length of flagella similar. In all directions, these 2 gametes are similar. Even we cannot remember which is male and which is female gamete. Such gametes are called isogametes. Example, cladophora, a green alga. NCERT book example. Simple diagram also given. Roughly study once. Diagrammatic representation of fusion of cladophora. Fusion of gametes in cladophora. Anisogamy. Male gamete is motile. Female gamete is stationary, non-motile. Fusion of motile male gamete and non-motile female gamete is called anisogamy. Example, fucus, a FIS member, brown algae, human beings. Okay, in case of some organisms, both male and female gametes are non-motile. Example, rhodophysi members. Plus higher living plants like gymnosperms and angiosperms. In gymnosperms, male gametes non-motile. Female gamete also non-motile. Similarly, in angiosperms also. But how non-motile male gametes move towards female gamete means through pollen tube. After pollen germination, pollen tube carry 2 male gametes and discharge into embryo sac. One of the gamete fuse with egg cell, that is called first fertilization or syngamy. Singam may result in zygote. Zygote development to embryo. Embryo to seed and fruit. Rest of the male gamete. One more male gamete is there, no? Rest of the male gamete fuse with the polar nuclei called second fertilization. Second fertilization otherwise called triple fusion. Fusion of three nuclei called triple fusion. Triple fusion result in endosperm. Endosperm nourishes developing embryo. Developing embryo. Hence, fertilization occurs twice in angiosperms. That is called double fertilization. Double fertilization is unique characteristic feature of all angiosperms. But in gymnosperms, fertilization occurs only once. Only once. Clear? That is about isogamy, anisogamy. Hence, motile means movement, locomotion. Non-motile, stationary. That is about gametogenesis. And gamete transfer. In case of algae, male gametes are motile. In some algae, female gametes also motile. Example, Elothrix. In Elothrix, both male and female gametes are motile. Elothrix. Next, Eudorina. In Eudorina, both male and female gametes are non-motile. Non-motile. Okay. In such conditions, it requires a medium that is called water. Mostly male gametes release into surrounding stream of water, move through stream of water, move towards female sex character, enter into sex character and fuse with egg cell. That is called fertilization. In case of higher living plants such as gymnosperms and angiosperms, pollen grains settle on the stigma, germinate on the stigma. Just now I told. Then pollen tube develop, pollen tube carry two male gametes. Male gametes discharge into embryo sac. Rest of the concept you know very well. Again discussions no need, right? That is called gamete transfer. In case of bryophytes and pteridophytes, they require water for fertilization. Okay, all bryophyte plants and all pteridophyte plants release their male gametes or anthrozoids into surrounding stream of water. Surrounding stream of water. Through stream of water, they swim and enter into archegonium, fuse with the egg cell called fertilization. Okay, a process of transfer of male gametes or anthrozoids. Anthrozoids are male gametes through stream of water is called zygogamous oogamy. Zygogamous oogamy. If male gametes travel through pollen tube, it travel through pollen tube is called siphonogamous oogamy. Siphonogamous oogamy. Siphonogamous oogamy. Zygogamous oogamy, example, bryophytes and pteridophytes. Siphonogamous oogamy, example, angiosperms and gymnosperms. That's all. That is about gamete transfer and gametogenesis, right? Next concept, you must remember on this area what is gametogenesis, what is gamete transfer, and motile gametes, non-motile gametes, isogamy, anisogamy, with examples, right? What is zygogamous oogamy? What is siphonogamous oogamy? Siphon means pollen tube. Zygo means water. Okay, with examples. Remember, a point for NEET object exam and set exam, KSET exam. that is about pre-fertilization events. Pre-fertilization events. Okay. Now fertilization events. Fertilization. What is fertilization? Just now I told fusion of male and female gametes is called fertilization. Fertilization results in zygote. Zygote is a single cell. Zygote ploidy to n, diploid. Diploid zygote undergo a series of mitotic divisions. Hence, zygote differentiate into embryo. Later, embryo differentiate into new organism. New organism. That is called fertilization. Okay. Parthenogenesis. Parthenogenesis. Parthenocarpy. Two terms important. Parthenogenesis and parthenocarpy. Partheno means virgin. Virgin means without sexual mode of contact. Genesis means production. Here, female gamete undergo mitosis to form new organism, new individual, without fertilization. See, female gamete means egg cell, nothing but egg cell. It undergo mitosis, the series of mitotic divisions to form new organism, new individual, without fertilization. Such phenomena is called parthenogenesis. Parthenogenesis example, some animals like rotifers, some lizards, some birds example turkey bird, and honeybees. These are the best examples of parthenogenesis organisms. Next, parthenocarpy. Partheno means virgin, carpy means fruit. Here what happened? Same, female gamete or egg cell undergo a series of mitotic divisions to form fruit. Same concept here. Female gamete undergo mitosis to form fruit. Seedless fruits. A process of production of seedless fruits without fertilization is called parthenocarpy. Here what happened? Female gamete or egg cell undergo mitosis, develop into embryo. Later embryo undergo mitosis and differentiate into fruit. But fruit without seed are called seedless fruits. Okay, what is the main demerit of parthenocarpy means? Parthenocarpic fruits unable to give rise next generation. Why? What is the reason? Where is seed? No seed. But for next generation, seeds are essential. Without seed, we cannot generate next generation. That is the one of the great demerit of parthenocarpic fruits. Of course, some merits also are there. The size of the fruit is very big in size, more pulp, sweet in nature, and less lifespan, etc. These are some merits of parthenocarpic fruits. What are the examples of parthenocarpic fruits? Banana, okay, watermelon, papaya, tomato, strawberry, grapes. Many examples are there. Dear students, remember parthenogenesis, parthenocarpy along with examples. Don't forget. Clear? I am expecting at least one question compulsorily from this area. Next, that is about fertilization events. Next, post-fertilization events. Post-fertilization events. That means what? Whatever the changes occur in organism or at flower level after fertilization, that all changes collectively grouped under post-fertilization events. Right? Post-fertilization events. Some examples: sepals, In case of plants, sepals, petals, style, stigma. Okay, this and all dry and drop off. Ovule become seed. Ovary become fruit wall, right? Next, micropyle becomes seed pore. Funicle, stalk of the seed. Hilum, scare of seed. Integuments become seed coats, etc. These are the changes occur after fertilization. These all changes collectively grouped under post-fertilization events. Means after fertilization, sepals, petals dry and drop off. Even style and stigma also dry and drop off. But in case of some plants like capsicum, mirchi, bendi, ladyfinger, bendi, and brinjal, sepals remain attached with the fruit. Except these examples, rest of the all other plants, sepals, petals, style and stigma dry and drop off, wither off. Ovule become seed. Ovary become fruit wall. Micropyle become seed pore. It is natural opening. Through seed pore, seed absorb moisture, oxygen, temperature and become sprout, called seed germination. Funicle, stalk of the seed. Hilum, scare of seed. Integuments are seed coat, become seed coat. Seed coat are of two kinds, outer, inner. Outer layer testa, inner layer tegmen. That's all. This is about post fertilization events in case of plants, right? Next to oviparous, vivipary, calcareous shell, pericarp. These are important terms. Look here, oviparous. You may heard the word oviparous, viviparous in previous classes, even zoology. Oviparous means egg-laying animals. An animal which lay eggs and hatch the eggs are called oviparous animals. Example, reptiles and birds. Viviparous animals, an organism which gives direct birth to their young ones and provide milk to their young ones are called viviparous animals. Example, some fishes. Best example, sperm blue whale. Some birds example, bat, a mammal, right? Next, all higher living animals, all mammals, include human beings. Next, vivipary. Viviparous different, vivipary different. The term vivipary belongs to Rhizophora, mangrove plants. Mangrove plants grow in seashore areas. In seashore area, local weather conditions are adverse conditions, entirely different from other terrestrial areas. Hence, seeds unable to germinate in such conditions. There what happened? Seeds germinate inside the fruit before fruit drop off. Such phenomena is called vivipary. Once repeat, seeds germinate inside the fruit before fruit drop off. That is called vivipary. After seed germination, fruit dry and drop off. Then fruit wall break, disperse seedlings into surrounding environment. Then seedlings develop into an individual plant. Such phenomena is called vivipary. You don't confuse between viviparous and vivipary. That's all. Next, calcareous shell. Egg. Birds and reptiles lay egg. Egg on the outer side covered with a thick shell. Shell is made up of calcium carbonate and calcium phosphate. It is very hard in nature. It protects all intra-material. Such a shell is called calcareous shell. Next, pericarp. Pericarp means fruit wall. Pericarp technical term, fruit wall is common name. In NCERT book, some examples given. Placentation. What is placentation? The mode of arrangement of ovules within the ovary on the placenta is called placentation. So their pattern vary from species to species. The mode of arrangement of ovule attached with the placenta inside the ovary vary from species to species. Are of various kinds. It is are of various kinds. Marginal placentation, parietal placentation, free central placentation, basal placentation, etc. This topic already covered in previous chapter, first year syllabus, morphology of flowering plants. Repeat the same concepts. Right? These are the almost main points that are important for NEET object exam and KSET exam, CET exam. All points covered. My dear students, revise NCERT lines, line by line, word by word, letter by letter. After completion of reading NCERT, immediately go through objective questions. Practice number of objective questions. And go through once previous objective questions. What type of questions they asked in earlier exams. Then you may get an idea. Right? Thank you very much. Prepare well. See you. Have a nice day.